Hello there guys, Philippo10000 here, bringing you episode 6 of Rate Their Chances Season 2, the series where we rate the chances for potential newcomers making it into the DLC Fighter Pack roster for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as inspired by the thread of the same name over on Smashboards, which you can find in the description. If you haven't checked out any of the previous episodes in the series, click the card in the top right corner for a link to the series playlist, or check the spreadsheet link in the description for a link to all of this season's ratings to see if your character has been selected, rated, and to see which characters are yet to appear. Alright, last episode was the 3rd of February, and today it's the 22nd of February. Ouch. Okay, it wasn't supposed to take that long of a break, I apologize, but we're here, we're back, we're enjoying life, and I've got 4 new characters to rate today, 3 of which we've seen in Season 1, 1 of which is new to the rating scene, though being completely real, their chances aren't that good, so maybe it would have been better if they would never been rated, but I can't say no because they were the most liked character of the last episode. Today's 4 characters we'll be rating are Cuphead from the game of the same name, suggested by Junpei Draws with 194 likes, the most liked comment of last episode. Tails from the Sonic franchise, suggested by Heath Rawls with 109 likes. Professor Layton, from the franchise of the same name, suggested by 7head with 77 likes, and the one you've all been waiting for, Steve from Minecraft, suggested by my good friend Darkbrin with 175 likes. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, comment, or subscribing. I produce gaming content every single day, including Smash gameplay, reviews, guides, and more. So please consider helping out the channel. It's been a really rough month for me, and I could use the kindness. And remember that these ratings do not reflect the opinions of Sakurai, the Smash Team, Nintendo, or anybody except myself, so don't take these ratings as gospel. They're all a bit of fun at the end of the day. And, as a new feature of the series, here is a little time link so that you can skip to your favorite character to see them being rated. Just go to the times that show up on screen right now. Without further ado, let us begin. So the most liked character from the last episode, Cuphead, is here to be rated. The main character of the hit 2017 indie game that took the world by storm, and no, I'm not talking about Hollow Knight, Cuphead is a boy with a cup for a head, who would have guessed, who made a deal with the devil and has to beat up a large variety of bosses in order to free himself and his brother from the devil's grasp. He can fire various different shots from his body, use a variety of extra trinkets that he purchases from a shop in-game, he can dash through the air and has super abilities that could easily be adapted into simple final smash attacks for maximum damage. However, Cuphead doesn't have any melee abilities in-game, locked to shooting, running, jumping, and parrying pink objects. Plus, he's a kid, so he probably can't punch with much force. Still, with his projectile-based moveset, he could certainly bring something new to the table with Smash, even if projectile-based characters haven't always been the most popular. I'm looking at you, Samus. Though, Mega Man admittedly has already pushed projectiles to their limit, and people like him, so perhaps it's not as unique a moveset as I might think. However, none of that matters if Cuphead isn't chosen by Nintendo, and here comes the kicker. Why on earth would Cuphead get chosen by Nintendo? It's a well-known fact at this point that Cuphead is only available on Windows and Microsoft. Cuphead has 0 presence on Nintendo consoles, and while it's not a deal-breaker, it's certainly an excuse for Nintendo to say no thanks when looking at the character. On top of this, Studio MDHR, who created Cuphead, are an indie studio. While we're all hoping to see this trend broken with this fighter pack, it's worth noting that there are no indie characters currently on the roster. And would Nintendo really reach out to a Canadian developer to secure their character when there are so few precious slots on the fighter pass? And would Cuphead be a good fit at this time? Well, the character's only 1 game old and hasn't even been out for 2 years yet. Shovel Knight, as an example, got major support back in the days of the ballot, only to make it as an assist trophy with a much longer time frame between his game's release and the release of Ultimate. So realistically, why on earth would Cuphead have a shot when his games aren't even affiliated with Nintendo, unlike other indies like Shovel Knight, or even the main character from Hollow Knight if we want an example of a more recent indie character from 2017 as well. With all of this in mind, I give Cuphead a chance score of 0%. It's too soon, and he doesn't have that Nintendo affiliation to keep him realistically within the running. If all it took to get into Smash was a popular game, things would be very different, but that's not the case here. Cuphead needs more time as an IP to shine. Get that DLC out, see if it comes to Switch, then move on. As for a want score, Cuphead gets a 40%. I'm not interested in the aesthetic he would bring, as while I enjoyed Cuphead as a game, I've never been much of a fan of the old cartoon style that the game was built around. It just never appealed to me personally, though I have to admit we'd get some real good music themes from this game if it ever made it. They would be real bangers. And there's a lot of stages to choose from given there are so many different locations in Cuphead that would make sense. So he makes sense from a fighter pack roster standpoint, I just don't think he's gonna happen. The eternal sidekick of the Sonic franchise, next up we're discussing the two-tailed fox himself, Tails, as we see whether he's got a shot for DLC. But first things first, how did he fare back in Season 1? Well, in his first rating, Tails scored a 40%, tying with characters like Isaac, the Chorus Kids, Isabelle, Banjo, and Joker, at least in their first ratings. I had potentially high hopes for Tails, with the simple logic that if anybody from the Sonic franchise had a shot, it would be the Eternal Player 2 himself. And if Sonic is to get another rep, I still think Tails is the only choice now that Shadow is 100% confirmed as an assist trophy. Now, he is a spirit, and I have to factor that into account when you consider the logic behind the Fighter Pass. Sonic already has 2 stages and a large variety of music in the game, and the Fighter Pass promises a new stage and more music. So, in a way, wouldn't it be wasted on another Sonic character when we could be getting a new franchise represented? And even more importantly, would Nintendo think the spot would be wasted on another Sonic character themselves? Surely they'd want to branch out a little more than that. Tails would be exciting for Sonic fans, but for Smash fans who want to see other franchises, he might be seen as a disappointing addition. With every other potential Sonic choice already a spirit as well though, it all comes down to whether Nintendo wants another Sonic character in their game. We haven't got a third-party franchise with 2 unique fighters yet, as Richter and Ken are both Echo fighters, and maybe that's a limit that needs to be kept due to their guest status from other companies. I might be thinking way too much into the logistics of this, but I think Tails' best shot was with the base roster, and with the current rumors floating around, I really feel like the chosen DLC characters are going to be a little more groundbreaking and a little more shocking than Tails. With that in mind, however, Tails gets a chance score of 5%. If the DLC was heading in a different direction, he might have more of a shot, but everything we know and everything that's been teased thus far seems to imply a more interesting character than Tails, which is a shame as he is my favorite Sonic character, more so than even Big the Cat. And that leads me to my want score of 95%, which hasn't changed since Season 1. I'd love Tails, I honest to God would, but I just don't see him as viable this time around, and whether that's the case or not, we'll see moving forwards. So back in episode 2, I actually brought up the Professor Layton himself when discussing Phoenix Wright, as I feel both characters fill in the same niche, further emphasized by the fact that the pair even got a crossover game with each other thanks to various similarities, even if the gameplay of each of their games is vastly different. Professor Layton, when he was rated back in Season 1, received a 35%, which at the time was good, before being lowered down to 15% after the August Direct, as the big third-party reveal had happened to be revealed with Castlevania. So now we're in the DLC phase, and people are wondering if Layton has a shot to get in this time. And honestly, Layton fits the bill for a potential DLC character. Let's start with his developer. Level 5, the developers behind his series, as well as Yokai Watch, are one of the largest video game companies in Japan in the top 10. Nintendo publishes their games internationally. They're a Japanese gaming company, which, if you remember my argument about Japanese versus Western developers, they fall on the good side of that. And Layton himself has been exclusively on Nintendo consoles since his launch. The character isn't useless either, being able to solve puzzles like a gentleman while using his fencing skills with the best of them. He's able to defend himself and is more than capable of earning a spot in Smash due to his series' popularity and his own popularity as a character. I know a lot of people who would love for Layton to make it in, potentially bringing a rather unique moveset involving iconic puzzles from the series. Now, I don't know enough about Professor Layton to know what music tracks or stage could be chosen, but he's got 7 games in his franchise, so they're spoiled for choice in that regard. The question is, will he get the call? There are 4 slots left for this DLC, potentially 3 if people believe that Erdrick from Dragon Quest is the rumored second DLC character, and given I'm 90% sure at least one of the remaining slots will go to a Western character, Layton's got a lot of competition to contend with if he wants to make it into the cut. However, Level 5 could end up being approached in a similar way to how Atlus was approached for Persona 5. Atlus has been a massive supporter of Nintendo's handheld consoles with Shin Megami Tensei, now they're moving on to the Switch as well, and they're now in Smash. Level 5 has a similar story and could do the same. That is, unless Atlus took that niche and left Level 5 in the dust. And of course, Level 5's character they push could be Jibanyan from Yokai Watch, which would be such a disappointment on so many levels. Either way, Layton has a genuine chance. I really believe he's got a good chance. So with that in mind, Layton gets a chance score of 70%. Damn, my highest rating to date. Although, to be fair, I really want to re-rate a few characters after looking at their ratings. I don't agree with some of them now. But yeah, I'm 100% on the Layton train. I think he's got a brilliant shot to be in the game. I think he's got more of a shot than Phoenix Wright, so of course he had to be over 60, and 70% seems like a fun spot. As for a want score, Layton gets a 100%. Bet you weren't expecting that one, were ya? I've really grown on the idea of Professor Layton, and he would be a lovely representative for the era of the Nintendo DS, which doesn't have much in terms of representation on the roster so far, and he's a British gentleman as well. Who doesn't want to play as a British gentleman? He's just so damn cool! Oh, here we fucking go. You've been waiting for this. I know you all have. I've been waiting for this. Let's do this. For our final rating today, we are going to be taking a look at Steve from that one indie game nobody ever played. You know, the really niche one that nobody's ever heard of. I don't think anyone's really played. It's kind of cool, kind of small, kind of little. Minecraft. Everybody knows that back in Season 1, I was very high on Steve's chances, to the point where I triggered a lot of viewers because, look, the simple fact is Steve was competition for a potential banjo inclusion and people did not like that. Back in Season 1, Steve got a 60% want score from his first rating, which got bumped down to a 30% after August, when all the third parties got hit with a debuff, with a slight boost to 40% prior to the end of the series, though not notable enough to make it to my top 5 after the final direct. That being said, why on earth would Steve, the block guy from Minecraft, ever make it into Smash, you may ask? Well, first things first, put aside any bias for Minecraft you might have. I know how hateful the internet can be of popular games, and Minecraft's been under that magnifying glass for years. But just put that aside, and think about it from a non-biased point of view. Steve is the playable character of one of the most profitable franchises in recent memory, and along with the Creeper, is the character that has the most merchandise in Minecraft, and he is on the face of everything. But Billy, he's just a default skin, and he's customizable, so why should Steve himself matter? Well, so's the villager in Animal Crossing, yet people didn't complain when his default skin got the focus in Smash 4. It doesn't matter if people choose to edit and change a character's appearance. The fact is, the default skin is synonymous with the game, and anyone who tries to deny that is downplaying his relevance severely. But Billy, Minecraft's not worthy of being in my Smash Bros. Well, it's earned more than most of the franchises in Smash based on global sales, and has inspired a generation to get building, and has inspired creativity from so many people, myself included. It's earned its merits as a gaming great, and the player character is the only thing from Minecraft that could make sense as a playable character, hence why it's not something like a creeper. And on top of that, despite the fact that Minecraft is owned by Microsoft, have you seen how chummy Nintendo and Microsoft have been recently? Xbox Live is coming to the Switch. Minecraft can be cross-played between the Switch and Xbox One. Microsoft is also being reported to bring the Xbox Game Pass to the Nintendo Switch soon. And what did the official Xbox Game Pass Twitter post on National Compliment Day post? They're really digging it. Subtle, Microsoft. Subtle. I fully believe Microsoft will get a character in Smash Bros. And I also fully believe it will be either Steve, Banjo-Kazooie, or Master Chief. But if I was a betting man, my money would be on the one that would make the most money for the company, and there's no comparison. Steve wins that bet hands down. Banjo-Kazooie will get the nostalgic older audience, but Steve is going to get the younger audience, the people with mummy and daddy's credit card who want to play as the Minecraft guy. You can't deny that. Though I will admit there is valid criticism about Steve's moveset and how he might be a bit jagged and awkward to translate into Smash Bros. That being said, if anyone can do it, it's Sakurai. Now, it's time to break the internet, because for the first time in Rate Their Chances history, and I'm gonna look really dumb if this turns out to be wrong, but that's the fun part, I give Steve a chance and want score of 100%. I am going all in. Steve will be in Smash by February 2020. It will happen. We will all be shook. My wig will be snatched. And I am predicting this right now. This is the only character I am ever gonna do this for. And if I'm wrong, this video is gonna be really funny to look back on next year. Don't let me down, Microsoft. Don't let me down, Nintendo. Bring our blocky boy to Smash and do the Minecraft lovers proud. So thank you everyone for watching today's Rate Their Chances. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys don't want to murder me so much for that last segment, but I'm sticking to my guns because quite frankly, I like triggering myself, and this is gonna be really fun when I'm wrong in a year. It's okay, it's all for fun. I am having fun with this, and this has been a very fun episode. Thank you everyone for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're interested in some of my other content, I am currently doing review/guide videos called So I Just Finished. I've done one on Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Hyper Light Drifter, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for the Nintendo Switch, and most recently, Resident Evil 2, with a Tetris 99 episode coming out either this week or next week, so very exciting stuff. On top of that, I am streaming every 2 days on Twitch with Persona 5. We have been getting a lot of people hanging out, and it's really cool to kind of just sit there, play through a game, and chat with you guys. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, I stream from 8 PM European time to 11 PM European time, which is 7 PM UK time to 10 PM UK time. You can work out the rest of the time zones in your own time zone using a converter on Google. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments down below for the characters you want to see rated next. The most liked comment will definitely get rated. The rest will be chosen out of the other liked comments, so keep an eye out. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and goodbye.